Welcome back to another video of Metalstorm. So today, I'm going to be showing you the J-10 Firebird. This was the most recent aircraft in the Black Market event. I farmed it, managed to get it for 50% off, completing all the objectives within the Black Market event. And I'm going to demonstrate it a little bit and talk about my thoughts on it, because it is about time we got an aircraft that has high off-boresight missiles. So what's kind of funny is I was actually thinking months ago how much I would want to have an aircraft in this game that has high off-boresight capability. And in my mind, I was like, okay, if I'm going to pitch this idea to the developers, if I were like someone who's like, hey, this is what I want to see for an aircraft, in my mind, I had the Sukhoi 47 Berkut, which I think is how you pronounce that, which is a aircraft that has forward swept wings, giving it insane agility and maneuverability. But there were shortcomings to it. You know, high speeds, it was kind of unstable. Because the wings were forward swept, they were more inclined to bend due to stress, which is why the aircraft never actually saw service, but was essentially used as a learning experience. But this game has, you know, it's arcadey. It's an air combat arcade style game with some elements of realism in it. So having prototype aircraft in this game is not far-fetched. I think there even are some in the game that I've never seen service before that you can actually fly. So in my mind, it was like Sukhoi 47s with 6 high off-boresight Fox 2s, close range, high maneuverability, and cannons. And that's basically, it'd just be a basic CQB type of dogfighting aircraft. It would thrive in one-circle fights, and it would just destroy everybody with their Fox 2s just whipping around and just shooting them in the face when they can't even position themselves to get a lock on you. So I was a little surprised when we got the J-10 and it was going to have high off-boresight capability. But after using it for a bit, I gotta say, there are some downfalls and some great things. And we will get into that as we jump into a match. Okay, so the first thing I want to address with the J-10 is just how terrible it actually is at maintaining energy. So if I were to go into the vertical like this, try to climb, you can see I'm actually bleeding speed. I'm not actually gaining altitude while still building speed. It has a terrible rate of climb, it has terrible energy management, but it excels in being able to lock on like this and kill somebody. Now obviously these Fox 2s are more maneuverable, but they're not going to be flawless. Like, you're not going to be shooting a guy down who is completely opposite of your position. So if we're like in a 2-circle fight and he's like directly above me and I'm looking right at him like this and he's across from me, I'm not going to be able to lock that guy. Or I will be able to lock him, but my missile's not going to track. But you can see, like, I'm always fighting, maintaining speed. My fuel is always low, because it's just one of those... There's a few aircraft in the game that are like that, where just maintaining the ideal turn rate is extremely difficult, because you just don't have the fuel or the energy to actually do so. So now I am just gonna float around here because I have no fuel. I'm gonna dive to try to get some energy back. But you can see it, even then, it doesn't retain energy at all. Like, I'm diving, and it doesn't seem to pick up speed like some other aircraft. You can see I'm already locking them. I mean, this thing is a formidable aircraft, especially when you can do this, which, I mean, is useless for me right now because I have no missiles. But basically, you can fake firing a missile, which has some fun uses. especially when you're actually in a turn fight with somebody. I'm gonna go get myself some ammo. So for sure, one thing I wanted to do, or I'm going to do for sure, but what I want to show in the future, I know this plane can be absolutely formidable when you start modding it. Ah, he managed to get one off. Oh man, this thing is not having it. Let's see, now I can do one of these. Loop around. Spook him. Except he's not popping flares. Okay, well now he is. There we go. So you can kind of see a rough idea of how the plane performs. Energy management is something you have to really factor in when you're using this thing. Just trying to keep your speed up, because as soon as you're slow, you're basically a sitting duck in any fight. Anyone that's outside of your immediate merge will just start firing missiles at you and you're not going to be able to dodge them. So I'm pretty sure the last game I just played was basically fully bots, which is kind of to be expected. When you get a new aircraft and you're flying it for the first time, your trophy count's essentially 0, right? So you're going to be starting from scratch, accumulating trophies on the aircraft. And because of that, you're more likely to be matched with bots, just because most people aren't flying around with 1 or 2 or 10, even 100 trophy planes. It'd be nice to play with actual people, just so I can demonstrate the capabilities of this aircraft a little bit better. Like the ability to spook them by using your special ability, which fires a phantom missile, basically. You lock onto somebody kind of like that. I press the button, it fires a phantom missile, he pops his flares just like that because he thinks it's coming. I mean, that was a bot, so it wasn't too bright. Oh, that Fox 2 was not anywhere near tracking. So as you can see, if you're directly across from the guy, like I just did with that intruder, that A6, my missile is most likely not going to be able to turn quick enough to hit the guy. So even though you can lock onto them, the fact remains, you kind of need to be in an advantage in the 1 circle or the 2 circle to actually be able to make full use of it. Let's see if I can dodge this without using flares. Oh, there we go. Made it hit the mountain. Man, you can just see the energy retention on this thing is just abysmal. Constantly fighting it. Like, I know when I get this thing to level 16, which is what I was kind of hoping to be able to try to do before I made a video on it, but at least now you can see how it performs essentially stock. But then once I get this plane to level 16 and I get ideal maneuvering on this thing, I can see the energy management being infinitely better. And then this will truly be a formidable aircraft. Ideal maneuvering is a mod that slows the deceleration rate while you're turning, as long as you're above the ideal turn rate. So right now you can see, if you look at my speed indicator, I'm at the ideal turn rate. It turns yellow when I'm inside that box, which gives me the best possible turn rate and speed. You basically want to be at that if you're in a turn fight with somebody. If you're 2 circling them, even 1 circling them, you're going to want to be at that rate of turn. At that perfect speed. But as soon as you dip below or you dip above, obviously your turn rate will suffer. So you're not going to get the nose around. Your angle of attack will drop. It'll diminish. So if you max it out, you can actually reduce the deceleration up to 35%, which is actually a pretty significant change. Let's see if this will actually get him. Oh, no. You can see it turning there, but not quite. There you go. You can see that one tracked beautifully. See if I can make him pop some flares. See, I'm kind of trying to get behind... Oh, well, okay. I guess I don't need to kill him. Oh my god, really? There we go. So you do need to be at advantage, I find. Like, it turns much better than, and it performs better than any other Fox 2 in the game, by far, in terms of its turn rate. But it's still not flawless. You're not going to have this thing loop around perfectly around a circle and smoke the guy in the back. Like, it's just not going to happen. You still need to kind of have a lead on him to be able to get that missile to actually turn enough to track him and hit him properly. So here we go again. Still no players. It's a shame. I wish I could show you some actual PvP gameplay versus bots, because these bots are super easy at this level. As you can see, I'm just smoking everything. I can just make him get spooked. And we're gonna lock onto him from here. And you're gonna watch that missile arc, and beauty. Oh man, he got me. As I was saying, that guy managed to, they're super easy, and that missile tracked me very well. I can just imagine this plane with ideal maneuvering and fuel efficiency, and you would basically just be able to two circle, one circle, endlessly circle your aircraft at the ideal turn rate, never losing speed, and retaining your fuel. It would be a formidable plane. It's kind of like the Jaguar. So the Jaguar is another plane. Another example, it has rockets and cannons. It's the only one in the game that actually has cannons and rockets that kind of sync together. So you can actually fire your... So the lead reticle, when you're shooting at somebody, there's a lead reticle. So you can see that there's the gun cannon reticle there. If I have rockets, there will also be a rocket one. It's basically like a diamond. And if I'm pulling enough lead on the guy, I can use my cannons and my rockets simultaneously. They line up beautifully, and it allows you to spam the ever-loving crap out of somebody and just murder them horrendously. So it's great for that, but it has pretty awful energy retention the exact same way. It suffers from, like, you're constantly pulling and losing speed, trying to maintain the ideal turn rate. So when I slapped ideal maneuvering on that thing, like, it's not perfect. You're still gonna find moments where you know, in a turn fight, there's only so much fuel you have to sustain the afterburners to continually win that turn fight. But compared to not having ideal maneuvering, it is like a night and day difference. Okay, we're gonna take this guy one circle. One missed. One circle again. He's still alive. That is ridiculous. It's the armor on that Sukhoi 27. It has a lot of health compared to other aircraft. There we go. So you can see there's a limitation to the Fox 2s. Like, they're maneuverable, but they're not gonna, like, win every turn fight. They're not gonna be one circling a guy and popping it off perfectly every single time. You still will have much better performance than pretty much any other plane you're going against. Like, if you have any other plane, like an F5 or something, and he's in a turn fight with you, well, he can't even shoot at you. Like, he can't shoot at you till he wins and he gets, like, the advantage in that fight. Where in my case, I could be locking him up and shooting at him. Kind of like that. See, I'm already locking this guy up. There it is. I'm gonna spoof him. There we go. I need one more kill. Oh, game's over. So that is the J-10 Firebird. A pretty awesome aircraft. I mean, like I said, I've been waiting. I've been dying to have some high off-boresight capability in this game, just to make the gameplay a little bit more interesting. Of course, it's not the best plane, and there's like weaknesses, and it makes sense. You cannot make this thing an absolute menace when it comes to dogfighting other aircraft in a merge, because it wouldn't be fair at that point, right? There's got to be some level of balance here, and I feel like the sweet spot, I feel like it's fine the way it is. The energy retention issue can easily be solved when you obviously upgrade the plane, you get to level 16, and you start throwing ideal maneuvering on it, just to continue having the energy that will not bleed when you start turning your aircraft to give you that upper hand. I could see that, like I said, making this aircraft even deadlier than it already feels. But only time will tell, because there's many aircraft in this game that are insanely deadly, and then there are some that are just completely awful. You know, some are just really bad. Like, let's talk about the J-20 Mighty Dragon, probably one of the worst aircraft in the game, but that's for another video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys on the next one.